Power is rarely taken with a gun, it's taken with patience, strategy, and silence. In the 1990s, Russia was in chaos. The Soviet Union had collapsed, and the country was ruled by corrupt oligarchs. Amid the disorder, one man was quietly climbing the ranks. Not a general, not a politician, a KGB officer named Vladimir Putin. Today he controls the largest country in the world and has outlasted 5 US presidents. How? This is the power play of the silent king. To understand Putin's rise, we need to understand Russia's fall. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Overnight, Russia went from a superpower to a broken nation. The economy crumbled, crime exploded, and corrupt businessmen called oligarchs took control. At the time, Vladimir Putin was a mid-level KGB officer in East Germany. He was trained in espionage, manipulation, and strategy. But his world had changed. The Soviet Union was gone. Putin returned to Russia, but instead of resisting change, he adapted. In 1996, Putin worked as a low-level political assistant in Moscow. By 1998, he was quietly placed as the head of Russia's security services. And in 1999, without ever running for office, Putin was suddenly named Prime Minister. A nobody in politics had just taken control of Russia's second most powerful position. And then in one move, he became president. Here's where Putin's strategy was different from other leaders. He didn't lead a revolution, he didn't overthrow the government. He waited. First, he earned the trust of the ruler. Boris Yeltsin, Russia's president, was old, sick, and deeply unpopular. Putin positioned himself as the loyal soldier, never challenging Yeltsin's rule. Then he became the safe choice. Russia was desperate for stability. Putin didn't make big speeches or controversial moves. He simply presented himself as the man who could restore order. And finally, on December 31st, 1999, Yeltsin unexpectedly resigned. And who did he name as his successor? Vladimir Putin. The Russian people never elected him. He never had to fight for power. He simply outlasted the chaos and waited for the throne to be handed to him. But that was just the beginning. Becoming leader is one thing, staying in power is another. Putin's genius isn't in how he took power, it's in how he kept it. He doesn't rely on brute force. Instead, he uses 3 key tactics. First, he controls the message. Putin made sure state media only reported what he wanted. Opponents silenced or discredited before they became a threat. The narrative, without Putin, Russia falls apart. Second, he eliminates rivals before they rise. Instead of waiting for enemies to challenge him, he removes them early. Political opponents suddenly disappear, lose elections, or flee the country. Third, he creates the illusion of choice. Putin still holds elections, but they're carefully controlled. Opposition candidates are weak or fake. The people believe they have a choice, but in reality, Putin is the only option. This is why he's ruled Russia for over 20 years. He doesn't fight for power. He makes sure there's no fight to begin with. Power isn't always about war. Sometimes the greatest rulers win without ever drawing a sword. Vladimir Putin didn't seize power in a coup. He didn't need a revolution. He simply waited, controlled the message, and eliminated threats before they became problems. This is the strategy of the silent king. Now tell me, who else has used this strategy? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more power plays.